So 300 grams of flour, just any flour will do. So I don't know how you measure this in cups, I'm not sure. 300 grams, or pretty much. A little bit of salt, and officially is 2 grams of yeast, but I don't know how to weigh 2 grams because I don't have a scale that precise. So I know this sachet is 7, so I normally just divide it by 3. I use it 3 times, and this is the 3rd time, so this is it. Of course you have to keep it in the fridge because otherwise it dies. Okay, then you mix it up with a fork to make sure that it's all incorporated and the yeast is everywhere. And that's basically it, because then you just need to add the water, which I'm going to do now. Okay, is 300 grams, which is about this. There we go, a little bit more, it's fine, whatever. And you add the flour in at least 2 or 3 times, and you start to mix it up with the fork and incorporate all the flour in the water. And you mix, and you mix. And I'm going to fast forward this process, I guess. And that's it for now, and the dough is done. Now you just need to wait 15 minutes or so and then work around it with a spatula, but I'm gonna show you. So you can start to prepare the cover, because this is gonna go in the fridge in this, and you can cover it with some film, but I don't have film because plastic, and I use this, and this is fine. So you can start covering it and wait for 15 minutes. And after 15 minutes, I'll show you what you have to do. Okay, so with a spatula, you have to work around the dough. You see how smooth it is, smoother than before. It's just because the yeast has started to work. So you have to move it around, make sure nothing has not been moved. So even on the bottom, make sure you go all the way around and beneath it. And you move it for a while. And that's it. So you can do this another time, maybe another time or 2 times, always every 10 minutes apart. I don't do it today because I want to put it in the fridge and start the proving. So now you have to put the film flange around, or I don't have it, so I'm just gonna put this and make sure it's sticking so that the air that the yeast produces doesn't escape. And you have to leave it in the fridge for at least 6 hours. I always leave it overnight, so I'm going to put it in the fridge now and work on the rest of the steps, and then baking it tomorrow. Okay, so it's the day after and we need to continue. So I'm gonna show you the next steps. You need to make sure that wherever you work is full with flour and it's well spread, because the dough is really, really wet. So you want to make sure that it doesn't stick. So I use this Of course, you don't need to have a wonderful alien-like, but you need some kind of spatula thing to get the dough out of the ball and to make sure it doesn't stick. I put some flour around this here too. And here we go. So this is the dough. You see how many bubbles? So I'm going to put it on the floor, on the surface. You see how wet it is? So you need to use a lot of flour at this point so that it doesn't stick. Because what you need to do now, it's called folding. It's called folding in Italian. I'm not sure. Well, the translation of folding in Italian, I'm not sure in English. But basically, you need to make sure that the dough is strong, and for it to be strong, you need to make those folds. So we need to fold it this way in 3 parts and this way in 3 parts, and do it at least twice. So as much as possible, because it's really, really wet. It doesn't need to be perfect, but it needs to be folded. So let's try. Go like this, and like this, and now this way, like this. There we go. And if it's too wet, like in this case, it's very, very wet, you just need to add a little flour. And now this way, we add a little bit of flour, and this way, there we go. And now we spray it again without, the bubbles are still gonna stay, but you need to be gentle and make sure that you don't destroy all of them. And once you have something that resembles a square, you do it again. So from this side, you fold. From this side, you fold. It's very wet in here. So add a little bit of flour. And now you fold this way. You fold, and you fold. Well, it's not sticking now. You need to make sure that it sticks. And to do that, you can keep folding, basically. Keep folding and folding until it's a little bit more doughy and less liquidy and less watery. And that's it. So I'm gonna do it another time.
Fold this way. I fold this way. I fold this way. And I'm just gonna turn it now, so that I know that nothing is sticking on the bottom.
And after I do that, I'm gonna put it back here. I'm gonna put some flour so it doesn't stick. I'm gonna put it back here, and it needs to prove again a room temperature for at least an hour. An hour and a half would be ideal. So you can also do, so I show you this way of folding. There's another way that pizza makers use. It's a little bit harder, but you can try. So you need to have your hands not sticky at all. You need a little flour on them, and then you do this. So have you seen it? So you pick it up from the middle, it gets folded, and then you make it. There we go. Again, it's harder to explain than to show, but that's the idea. Again and again. So all this folding it's for the dough to become stronger. and that's what makes it good, I guess. So I think I'm good now. I'm just gonna get my hands clean. All of this will go back to the bread, so it doesn't matter if it's not great, if it doesn't look like it's great. It's gonna stick in, so it's not a problem. So I'm gonna pick it up and put it in the bowl and leave it there for another hour or so. There we go. Okay, so now it's been almost 3 hours because I've done other things, and I put the cast iron pan in the oven. It has reached 250 degrees Celsius now, so I'm gonna take it out without burning myself, hopefully, and put the dough that has grew more back in there. I'm also this cast iron one because that's what I have, but you can use any pot with some kind of cover to make sure that the heat from the pot doesn't escape as easily. You need to heat it up in the oven while the oven heats up to 250. When it reaches 250, you take it out, put the dough in, put the cover on, put it back in. So that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so here's very, very, very hot pan. And this is what I'm gonna do. This is the dough. You see it still grew. You don't need to do anything around this. You just, no oil nor nothing. You just need to put the dough in. Hopefully you will have a proper form and shape. And put the cap on and put it back in the oven. Apologies, in the meantime I'm cooking something else, so I need to do this fast.
Yeah, so here it is. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There we go. So you don't have a weird shape. Doesn't matter.
You can give it a cut here if you want, or some kind of decoration. Sometimes they do. I just make sure that it's as smooth as possible, and that's it. And make sure you don't burn yourself because this pan is super duper hot. Okay, put the cap back on, and now it goes back in the oven for 30 minutes at 250 cover, and then you take the cap off and you cook it for another 10 minutes, and that's done. Okay, so I took the pot out of the oven. He's been 30 minutes in the oven with the cap on, and 10 minutes without. 30 with, 10 without. And this is it. Ta-da! Now I'm just gonna wait for it to cool without the cap, and as soon as it's cool enough, I'm just gonna put it on something to cool, and then I'll cut it and eat. And that's the story of my bread.